build a skyscraper, they don't start by pushing it upwards. They start by digging deep. Burj Khalifa didn't become the tallest building in the world by rising first. It started by disappearing almost 50 meters underground before reaching the sky. Because the higher a building rises, the heavier the structure beneath it has to be. So the entire thing survives on balance, something we often forget in our everyday lives. Hello everyone, my name is Mayssa Merhi. I'm a grade 5 student, and the balance I'm talking about is something I struggled to find for a long time. Most of us spend our lives building. Without realizing, we inherited the blueprint. You know when you're talking to someone and halfway through you realize you aren't really listening? Not because you didn't care, but because your mind slowly shifted towards something else. And even though that moment was right in front of you, you weren't really inside of it. And somehow, that way of living becomes normal to us. And slowly, without noticing, we begin living between two places that don't actually exist: the future and the past. Together, they create a frame that keeps our attention from everything except where we are. We rarely notice it because we're raised inside of it, because we're taught that thinking ahead is responsibility, that carrying everything is resilience, and that slowing down is weakness. So, we live by planning, replaying, and anticipating. We revisit old conversations that have already ended. We rehearse conversations that haven't happened. We return to old versions of ourselves, day after day, year after year. But ask yourself this: how long are you actually here? Not preparing for what's next, not justifying what's already happened. For me, that frame was built early. Home became a place of uncertainty long before I understood what uncertainty meant. As a child, I learned that things could change suddenly, that stability wasn't guaranteed. Life felt unpredictable. And when the present feels unsafe, you don't stay in it, you escape it. So, I escaped forward. The future became my relief. I showed up for my work, for my passions, for the people I love. I gave my all to every part of my life, not just to succeed, but to keep moving. Because movement felt like control. If I kept moving, I never had to sit with what I was carrying. And it worked. From the outside, everything looked solid. I became the one who had it together, the one who always seemed okay. And over time, that became part of my identity. Not because I never struggled, but because I got very good at struggling privately. And maybe I was okay. But being okay isn't the same thing as being present. I realized I was living through what came next more than what was here. I remember finishing something I had worked incredibly hard for, something I thought would finally make me feel relieved. And for a moment, I was proud, really proud. But almost immediately, my mind moved on. What's next? What else can I do? What if this isn't enough? The future kept pulling me upward, and the past stayed heavy. Not as something that broke me, but as something that constantly reminded me why I felt the need to keep moving. So, I stayed suspended, always planning, always working towards something, but never fully present. And that's when something changed. Not because I collapsed, not because I failed, but because someone kept repeating something to me I didn't understand at first. Take life one day at a time. That person is sitting right there, my mother. The strongest person in my life. The one who proved that strength doesn't have to be loud to be unbreakable. Watching her taught me something I hadn't understood before. Strength isn't the absence of struggling. It's a decision to keep showing up again and again without losing who you are. And when she said, take life one day at a time, I thought she meant lowering my expectations, settling down. But that's not what she meant at all. She wasn't give up the future, she was reminding me it wasn't the only place where life exists. And for the first time, I realized how often my mind was somewhere else, in yesterday, and tomorrow, anywhere but here. That lesson became my anchor. For so long, I treated everything I had gone through like something I was supposed to carry forever. And I kept escaping onto what was next. But stepping beyond the frame doesn't mean rejecting where you come from or abandoning where you're going. It means to stop disappearing from your own life while preparing for it. Letting ambition inspire you without letting it crush you. Letting experience inform you without letting it define you. And giving the present enough space to exist. Because it's not a waiting room, it's a space where life is actually happening. Not escaping the frame, not destroying it, but refusing to let it decide how you live. And maybe that's what change really means. Not doing something radical, not changing the world overnight, but it's refusing to believe that your past is a chapter, but while it is a verdict. That your future is a possibility, not something you have to spend your whole life chasing. And maybe that's what taking life one day at a time really means. Not changing your dreams, but finally being here while you build them. After all, even the strongest structures don't rise by losing touch on the ground they stand on. Thank you.